Hey everybody, and welcome to Foundations Day 20. Today is the last day in this series, so a little bittersweet, but today we have our final class and a lot of good things in store for you. Everything that we have been learning together for the past 19 days, we are going to put together in one longer class. So if you remember from the tutorials, whether you like to have props around your mat, go ahead and pause the video, grab those, have them ready so that when you need them, they're right by your side. The only prop that I am going to have right now is a block just to prop my hips as I find a comfortable seat, which is where we'll start today's class. So I'm going to pop that under my sits bones and find a comfortable seat here. So you might not want to use a block, you might want to use a blanket. It's a little bit softer. I'm just kind of used to sitting on a block and it's convenient for me. So take your time getting settled in. This is a very special class that we have today. All of the hard work you've been doing, we're going to put it together in a full class. Go ahead and start this day here on your mat by connecting to your breath. Even if it's the end of your day, think of it as something like a new beginning. Maybe it's the first time all day you've had a chance to pause and pay attention to your breath. Notice what your body feels like today. Maybe you feel tired or sore from another workout. Maybe you just feel tired from having had nothing to do. Or maybe you're ready to go. Either way, no judgment, no criticism. Just notice. Wherever you are, it's okay. So we're tuned into the breath here, noticing sensations in the body. And as you sit there, make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. The shoulders relaxing down away from the ears, and the head resting easily at the top of the spine. Relax the muscles of the face, around the eyes and the mouth. And relax the neck. And the breath flows easily in and out the nose. And if your palms are turned down like mine, let's go ahead and flip those up in a sort of receiving gesture here at the beginning of class, as we gather our energy reserves and prepare to move. You can take this moment to set an intention for your class. So maybe that's just a thought or a word. It could be the word breathe or focus. Maybe it's a mantra you have or a prayer. Something you'd like to dedicate or commit this time to. And let's all take a deep cleansing breath. So breathe in deeply through the nose, full breath here. Open the mouth and exhale it out. If your eyes are closed, gently flutter the eyelids open and we'll get started. So let's just start by stretching the neck gently. We'll just let the chin drop down to chest. And then lift it back up. Drop the chin down to the chest. And lift the chin. One more time. Drop the chin down to the chest. And lift the chin up. And come back to neutral. Now draw the chin over towards your right shoulder. Maybe tipping your head until you find a nice stretch in the side of the neck. And then over to the other side. One more time. We're going to stretch the neck, bringing the chin to the right shoulder. And then back over to the left shoulder. Good. So let's bring the arms out to a T shape. And we'll just warm up the arms a little bit with some gentle circles around. Not moving so forcefully that we're letting our body swing back and forth, but just softly, with control, moving in these little circles, and switch directions, moving in the opposite direction now. Good. Then bring your right hand down and we'll reach the left arm up and over, stretching through the side body. Open in the heart space. Come through center and stretch to the other side. Keep breathing through the nose. Good. Coming back through center, we'll twist to the right. Maybe today I'll keep right and left straight. Who knows? Who knows what will happen? And then twist to the opposite side. Good. And come back to center. Let's just open up the shoulders here by interlacing fingers behind the back, opening the heart space. Good. All right. So I'm going to set my block aside and come to all fours, moving into tabletop pose. Okie dokie. Tabletop pose, we've got wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, fingers spread nice and wide, creating a strong foundation for this pose. And we'll move through cats and cows, connecting breath and movement. Inhale through cow pose, dropping the belly. And exhale, round the spine, cat pose. Really press through the whole back, through the shoulders. Then inhale through your cow pose, stretching out the belly, and exhale, press, press, press around the spine. Find that space between your shoulder blades and press upward. Keep moving with your own breath. And if at this point you want to add in some fluid extra motions that you make up yourself, you're welcome to do so. Maybe moving side to side and stretching out the hips, stretching out the sides of the body. You can move in some hip circles like so. First in one direction and then in the other. You can stretch out the wrists by flipping the palms around. This can be pretty intense, so be gentle with yourself. You can even keep the wrists flipped and move through cats and cows like that. All right, so just a couple more rounds of movement here. Remembering to breathe and move along with the breath, connecting breath and movement. And then we'll come to stillness here. All right, so let's thread the needle. Let's reach the left arm up and thread it under. You can crawl your right fingertips up towards the top of the mat to find a little more stretch. Good. Now we're just going to switch sides here. So slowly walk your fingertips back, pressing up. Lift your right hand up, opening up through the heart space. And on an exhale, thread the arm under, walking left fingertips up to the top of the mat. Keep breathing. It can be such a challenge not to hold the breath in any of these poses. Good, and then walk the fingertips back and press up, back into tabletop pose. All right, so we have learned once upon a time a pose called spinal balance. We're gonna lift the right leg out behind, and you can stay right here, or if your balance is there for you today, you can lift your left arm out ahead of you. Good. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back down. Just switch sides here. Lift the left leg. If you want, you can lift the opposite arm. Keep breathing as you hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back down. So we're going to make our way all the way down onto the belly. So walk your knees back and slowly lower all the way down onto the belly for Savasana. So on an in-breath, you'll lift your arms and your legs. Locust pose, Savasana. Keep breathing, don't hold your breath. On your next exhale, lower back down to the earth. Good. All right, so I'm just going to rest my chin on my hands. All right, so let's make our way to standing for some sun salutations. So no fancy ways of getting there. I'm just going to come up onto my feet, pop up, and walk up to the top of my mat. All right, so from the top of the mat, come to a solid, comfortable standing position. You can either have feet underneath the hips, directly underneath the hips, stacking all the joints, or you can bring toes to touch with a slight space between the heels. Rest the palms face forward at your sides, and drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Continue to breathe here as we move through a standing half moon. So reach all the way up. And then we're going to bend to the right side. On your next breath in, come back through center and switch sides. Bending this time to the left side. Doing pretty well with my rights and lefts today. All right, on your next breath in, come back to center. Then find your neutral standing position. We're going to start to move through all of our sun salutations, just one of each. So first up, we have a half sun salutation. Inhale, reach all the way up. And on your exhale, bend your knees for this first one. Forward fold, go all the way down. Good. On an inhale, halfway lift. Find your flat back position. And exhale, forward fold. You can keep your knees bent all the way through all of these if you need to. On your inhale, reach all the way up, sweeping arms up overhead. And exhale, hands come back down to the sides. Next up is a sun A. Here we go. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, let's bend the knees again as we forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. All right, you know variations here. I'm going to move through mine. Exhale, step it back and lower all the way through Chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend. I'm in upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. All right, we're gonna keep going. So step it up to the top of the mat and inhale to halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, come back to neutral, standing with the hands by the sides. All right, so there was your sun A. Last sun salutation, we're gonna move through a sun B. Inhale, sweep the arms up, and exhale, sink the hips for chair pose. Take a deep breath in chair, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, palm the mat, step back and lower, Chaturanga. Inhale, back bend. And exhale, downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward, warrior one. Sweep the arms up. And you're inhaling here and exhale. Hands come back down to the mat, lower. And back bend as you inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, step the right foot forward. Warrior one, inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, palm the mat, step it back, lower. Inhale to back bend. Then exhale, downward facing dog. Step it all the way up to the top of the mat and inhale to halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep up to chair pose, Utkatasana. And exhale, neutral standing. Samastiti. All right, so that's nice. All right, so let's move through a standing balance pose now. Now that we're a little warmer, ego pose. First row, stand on the left leg. So take the right leg up and over. Again, you can keep your toes planted firmly here on the ground if you need to. Or you can start to lift them as you begin to work on wrapping the legs. And then bring the right arm, if you want to add arms, right arm under the left. You can give yourself a hug or start to wrap the arms. Holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly start to unwind the pose. And we'll switch sides. This time, standing on the right leg. Go ahead and wrap the legs. Keep your toes on the ground if you're working on your balance. Otherwise, start to wrap the legs here. Find the strength of the legs. And then you can add the arms. This time, the left arm goes under the right. So you can give yourself a hug. Or start to wrap the arms. Good. If you fall or lose your balance, that's okay. I do it too. Holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Unravel slowly. That's your eagle pose. You might notice the sides of your body are different. One of my legs is much more stable than the other. That's very normal. We're all like that. All right. So I'm standing at the top of my mat still. And we're going to move through our first sequence. All right, so let's flow. Take a deep breath in and sweep the arms up. And exhale, forward fold. All right, so in this forward fold, I'm just going to walk my feet mat's distance apart. And then I'm going to clasp hands to opposite elbows and just kind of sway back and forth. Warming up the legs. Good, and release your hands. I'm going to walk my feet back together and inhale to halfway lift, flat back position. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Lower through, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or your version. And exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, so here's where you can make a choice. You can move through these sequences from downward facing dog, or you can start from tabletop. I'm going to start from downward facing dog. I'm going to lift my left leg up first. Good. And I'll just circle out the ankle. First in one direction and then in the other. Good. Take a deep breath in, and on your next exhale, bring that foot up between your hands for low lunge. So plant that back knee. Now, your legs aren't in line with each other. They're more like we're on railroad tracks here for low lunge. So you can keep, as you lift, you can keep your hands on blocks. You can keep them here on your knee, or you can start to lift your arms up overhead. But continue to breathe wherever you are in this pose. Feeling this front of the right hip start to gently open. Good. In this series, we've been here many times before, and you know where I like to go. After this, we're going to go to half splits. So, hands come down, and on your exhale, shift the hips back and fold. Good. That's really early to be getting into a hamstring stretch. You might inhale, come forward, and exhale, fold again. Maybe once more. Inhale, come forward, and exhale, fold again. Knee can stay bent. You don't have to straighten the leg all the way. If you're feeling something already, go ahead and stop. Don't push yourself too far. We don't want to cause injury. We don't want to become violent with the body. We want to be kind and gentle and respectful. Good. On an inhale, shift forward. We're going to move into a modified extended side angle. So we're going to kickstand that back leg and lift. Good. Bring your left forearm to the top of your left leg here and reach the arm up and over, stretching through the side body here. Opening in the front of the right hip. Good. And bring the arms back down to frame your foot. I'm going to step it back. And we will move through a vinyasa, your version. You can always drop the knees and move through a half push-up here, down to the belly and cobra. There's an option here. And then we're going to meet in downward facing dog, just to do that same sequence on the other side. So lift your right leg this time and circle out the ankle, first in one direction and then in the other. And then take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, bring your foot forward for your version of a low lunge. Good. Keep breathing. Deep breaths in and out the nose. Good. On an exhale, hands come down to the mat and we shift the hips back for half splits. If you want to work your way into it, inhale, shift forward, and exhale, shift back. One more time, inhale, shift forward, and exhale, shift back. Good. On your inhale, shift forward, modified side angle, kickstand the back foot. Rest your forearm on your leg and reach your arm up and over. Good. Sweep the arms back down. Move back to plank or half plank, your version here of a vinyasa. It can be cats and cows even. On an exhale, lower. Inhale, back bend. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good. All right, so next sequence, lift the left leg up. Inhale and exhale. Step the leg forward for warrior two. So I'm going to spin that back foot down and use the strength of my legs to lift the upper body. We're in warrior two now. So we've got my front body facing the long end of the mat, my arms out to the sides, gaze over fingertips. And then peaceful warrior, flip that front palm and reach back. Good. Come back to your warrior two. Straighten the front leg. We're gonna move into pyramid pose. I'm gonna hop my feet a little closer together, turn to the side, find the strength in my legs, and then makes me think of I'm a little teapot. Tip me over and pour me out, as my 2-year-old likes to sing sometimes. Sometimes he really doesn't want to. He's got a mind of his own. Pyramid pose. You can always have your hand on a block here. You can remember. Good. And then coming up out of pyramid pose, I'm going to bring my hands down to frame my foot, spinning onto the back toes. Widen my stance a little for a revolved side angle pose. You can drop the knee and we'll twist here. Your hand can stay on your leg or your hip to stabilize, or you can start to reach up. Breathing into your twist. And hands come back down to frame the foot. And we'll step it back. Again, your version of a vinyasa. And when these get tiring, you can move through cats and cows. On a breath out, lower. Inhale to back bend. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good. This time, inhale to lift the right leg. And exhale, step the foot forward. Warrior 2, plant the back foot. Inhale as you rise. Good. Moving into peaceful warrior, flip the front palm and reach back. You're doing really great. This is a tough class for beginners. All right, good. Come back to center, warrior 2. Straighten the front leg. I'm gonna hop my back leg up for pyramid pose. Strengthen your legs and tip me over and pour me out. Why not? Keep breathing. Good. All right, come back up. I'm going to widen my stance and then bring my arms down to frame my foot, pivoting onto back toes for a revolved side angle. Knee lifted or lowered. Twist. Good. Bring the hands back down, step it back, and vinyasa. Exhale to lower. Inhale to back bend. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good. You are doing great. Trust me, you are doing great. I am hot. I am sweating. But we're doing great together. Take this moment to just connect to your breath again and settle in. We're going to move into a little bit of hip work here. So as you inhale and lift your left leg out behind you, bend your knee and move that leg in a few little circles, warming up the hip, and then switch directions, moving the leg in the opposite direction, just around and around. Good. Inhale to reach the leg back up, and exhale, step the foot forward for a lizard pose. I'm going to lower my back knee and make this nice and passive as I gently work into my hip. Good. So you can have your knee lowered like mine, or you can tuck the toes and lift the knee. You can also bring your forearms down to the mat or onto a block to work that pose a little deeper. But none of these ways is better than the others. They're just different ways. Good. And then from lizard pose, I'm going to walk my leg back to center just to stabilize here. So I've got my hands on either side of my foot. Yes, that's what it's called, a foot. And I'm going to shift my hips back for treeing. So treeing is like half hero's pose. We've learned this one before. And if you have issues in the knees, you can sit on a block. I'm just going to hop that leg up to give myself a little space. So I'm sitting to the inside of the calf here. Good. So in treeing, you can lay all the way back. If that feels nice, you can lay down on the ground in this pose. You can also reach forward and stretch through the hamstring in this extended leg here. Good. Keep breathing, deep breaths in and out the nose. And I'm going to come out of this pose by pressing my hands down and shifting forward. And I'm going to move into pigeon pose. So heel toe that foot over and settle into your pigeon. So if you've done this tutorial, that was my favorite tutorial, was pigeon pose. If you've done this tutorial, you know there are so many ways to modify this pose. Everybody's hips are really different. Just structurally, there's so much variety in the hips and the pelvis. You can stay upright or you can fold, either way. So you know these versions by now. You've done the tutorials. You've got this. Good. So to come out of pigeon, here's what I'm gonna do. Get ready. I'm gonna bring my hands back down to the earth, tuck my toes, and start to lift that knee, and pick up the leg, and come back to a three-legged dog sort of position here, and just kind of circle out the hip. Get those juices flowing again. Any little movements you wanna make. And then we'll switch sides. So lift the right leg up, bend the knee, circle out the hip in first one direction, and then switch directions. Good. On an inhale, lift the leg back up, and exhale, step it forward for lizard pose. Your version of a lizard pose. Allow the mind to start to wind down as we near the end of the practice. If your mind is still buzzing, see if you can set some of those things aside and really just enjoy these last minutes on the mat. We're going to shift back into treeing. Coming to sit to the inside of the left leg here. And again, you can lay down on your back, you can recline, or you can shift forward as you work your way into the hamstrings. Good. Keep breathing here. So you relax into the pose. And then to come out of it, press down with your hands, shifting forward, and move your way into a nice, yummy pigeon pose, your version here with your props, however you want them. Good. And then you can stay upright, or you can start to fold over your front leg. Relax the jaw and the muscles of the face, finding softness. You're not forcing yourself any further than your body needs to go today, but just accepting where you are. All these changes in our body happen so slowly. It can be hard to notice, and we always want to be somewhere else, somewhere other than where we are. But that really is a blockage that prevents us from experiencing the joy of the present moment. Good. So coming out of your pigeon, plant your hands, tuck your back toes, lift the back knee, and lift the front leg, and come back to your three-legged dog, finding any movement in the hip to get those juices flowing again. Good. And downward facing dog. Let's take 5 breaths in downward facing dog. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. That's 1. Deep breath in through the nose and a deep breath out. That's 2. Take a breath in and breathe out. That's 3. Breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the nose. 4. Last one, breathe in, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. That's 5. Drop the knees down to the mat and prepare for child's pose. I'm going to bring my toes to touch, knees wide on the mat, and reach my arms up to the top of the mat there. Job well done today. We're just going to start cooling down from this practice. If you're as warm as I am, this child's pose feels nice and easeful and cooling. But however it feels for you, try not to judge it. Try not to judge those feelings or criticize yourself for feeling some way other than how you think you should feel. However you feel is okay. That is a part of your journey. And how you feel is real, but it will change. Our bodies change slowly, but our feelings change quickly in the blink of an eye. Good. So slowly start to press yourself up and out of your child's pose. Bring your knees back under your hips, and I'm just going to swing on down to my seat for Gomukhasana. Alright, so for this one, you have a couple of options. You can come into full cow face legs, or you can stretch out the right foot, right leg, and you can bring the left leg over on top here. Now, so this is half Gomukha legs. You can also bend the knee, come into full Gomukha legs. Now, if you'll remember, for the arms, if you have a strap, you can use that. You can also skip the strap and just grab onto the back of your shirt if you need a little assistance. We'll reach the left arm up, bend the elbow. First, bring opposite hand to your elbow so that you can move into a little bit of a tricep stretch, and try not to push too hard on this, but you're working your way towards having your elbow behind your head. When I say working your way into it, I don't mean forcing your way into it. I mean take it easy, let time do its work. All right, and then we'll bring this hand down and around, bending at the elbow. You can reach up and clasp fingertips, or you can grab onto the back of your shirt or a belt, a strap, a scarf. Close the eyes or soften the gaze and the muscles around the eyes. And keep breathing softly in and out the nose as we unwind from this practice. Good. I'm going to unwind the arms and just for a moment fold over my legs here. Just an option here. You can also bring a block in front of you and rest your head. Just finding a little support there. I like to bring my chin to my knee. Good. Hands come up out of your fold. I'm just going to switch the legs. And again, you can straighten the bottom leg or come into the full cow face pose here, pausing here with just the legs. And then bring your right arm up, bending at the elbow, tricep stretch. Sweep the arm back around and reach up to bind the arms together, clasping fingertips, or grab onto a scarf, strap, or your shirt. Soften the muscles of the face. Easeful breathing in and out the nose. Don't force it. Be kind. Good, and then I'm going to unwind the arms and just for a moment here, fold. Good, now pressing up out of the fold, unwind the legs, and I'm going to turn so that I am on the long end of my mat here for a seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. All right, and you can have your feet together or you can widen them to make yourself more comfortable. Remember, you can bend the knees, maybe just put a pillow or a bolster under here to give you a little support so that this is a nice restful posture for you. I'm just going to take my feet a little wider than usual, make a little space for a little bump here, which I have been hiding until today, probably unsuccessfully, I don't know. Inhale, long, tall spine as we reach up, and exhale, fold. This is one of my favorite Sanskrit names for a pose, Paschimottanasana. It sounds just right. Paschimottanasana. See how much you can let go in this pose here. Notice the way the back line of your body feels, all the way from your heels, your calves, up your hamstrings, your glutes, all the way running up your back, and then back of the neck, back of the head, all the way down to your forehead. See how it feels in your body. Keep breathing as you continue to allow yourself to melt into this pose. Good. On your next breath in, slowly walk your hands up your legs as you come out of this pose. Good. And we're going to make our way all the way down onto our backs now. Good. So we've got a little bonus pose today. And the bonus pose, a lot of sun on my face. The bonus pose is called Happy Baby. So we haven't learned this one yet. If you don't know it, don't panic. I'm here to tell you what we're going to do. So you see I've got my knees bent. I'm just going to draw those knees up towards the armpits and then reach my hands. You can use a strap if you have one. But I'm going to reach my hands for the outer blades of my feet. Hands can stay there. Or you can wrap your index and peace fingers, your index and middle fingers, around your big toes, whichever one you prefer. And start to press the tailbone back down towards the earth. This is Happy Baby. Good. So I am going to release the Happy Baby. And with the knees bent, bring the feet flat on the earth and move into a little bit of a twist. First in one direction. Not forcing again, just being gentle. And then I'm going to slowly shift until I move to the opposite side in my twist. Good, and then move back to center. So I've got my feet together here, and I'm just going to let my knees fall out to the sides for Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined cobbler's pose, reclined butterfly. You can prop the knees here with blocks or bolsters or pillows. Some people even like to use a strap to hold their knees up if you know how to do that. You can rest your hands wherever feels comfortable, on your belly, maybe up overhead. That feels nice. Let's take a few cleansing breaths here in Supta Baddha Konasana. So take a deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and exhale. Take another deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth. Exhale. Last time. Really get into it this time. Deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and let it go. All right. So we're about to move into Savasana. Slowly bring the knees back towards the midline, back to center. And then last little bit here, we're going to hug the knees into the chest. You can massage it a little back, maybe rolling around a little bit, first in one direction, then the other. You can connect to the core one last little time, bringing head up to knees. Good. And then I'm just going to send my feet long, get a little more centered on my mat here. Good. Here we are, preparing for Savasana. Feet are at least mat's distance apart with the toes flopping out to the sides. Good. And then tuck those shoulder blades under as you wiggle around and get comfortable. You can bring the arms down by the sides with the palms face up as the heart space melts open. And we'll just take a few moments to relax into the Savasana. Taking one more cleansing breath as we let go of today's practice. Find a deep breath in through the nose. And exhale it all away. Softly close the eyes. Allow the muscles of the jaw around the mouth to soften and grow slack. Relax the neck. Relax the shoulders. Arms. And the legs. Feel everything softening. Everything melting down into the mat. If some part of your body is having a hard time letting go, it's tense, squeeze. Maybe it's your arms, just squeeze your arm muscles and then let it relax. Soften the space between your eyebrows as we settle into our final pose, Savasana. It has truly been an honor guiding you not only through this final full class here, but through this 20-day series. You've done some very good work. You should really be proud of yourself. I'm proud of you. Thank you for showing up to your mat every day. Even if you skipped a few days, that's wonderful too. It's good to skip days sometimes. Take a Savasana day. And I will leave you here. Make sure to spend plenty of time in the Savasana, taking as much time as you need before you move on with your day. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste.